What is up, players? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, July 20th. I'm your host today, Mike Double D Doherty, and alongside me today is a voice of a generation, Snowbike Mike.
What is going on, Kinda Funny? Thank you for the love, Mikey. Great to be back here at the table with you. You did a phenomenal job yesterday.
Thank you. It's been a day today, man. It has been a fucking day today. Having some printer issues. Had to wake up at 3 in the morning today, take a friend to the airport, slept in my car for a couple hours before the show.
He's a good friend. Could have hit me up. I would have hit you up with the bed, but you're a good friend, dude.
But we're recovering. We're rolling right through this, Mike.
That a boy. Under great pressure, diamonds are made, Mikey. And you know what? That's what I'm seeing from you today. So let's keep kicking butt. Let's have some fun. It's Friday, and we're ready for the weekend, y'all. Let's get into it.
Well, hold on. For the uninitiated, Kinda Funny Games Daily is Kinda Funny's daily nerdy video game show. We unpack all the nerdy news in the video game world right here on twitch.tv/Kinda Funny Games. And you can also catch it live. If you can't catch it live, go ahead and catch it over at youtube.com/Kinda Funny Games. Mike, where can they listen to this show anywhere?
You can listen to it on podcast services around the globe. Remember, if you turning in live right now on twitch.tv/Kinda Funny Games, you got a special job to do. Please help us keep it honest, keep us right while we're taking over the show this week. And go on over to kindafunny.com/you're wrong to help us set the record straight if we screw up while on the job.
That's what I like to hear, Mike. Now, let's get into some housekeeping, shall we?
Tell me.
So, the boys are in San Diego Comic-Con this week, so you might be wondering, why are we here? It's because they couldn't get anybody else. We're literally the last resort.
It's true. We looked at other people.
So Greg is hosting the Marvel game, or he hosted the Marvel Games panel in Hall H yesterday, and Rocket League's 3rd birthday party yesterday, and he's going to be at streaming with Skybound Friday morning, which already happened with the Kinda Funny belt on the line. It looks like who ended up winning that? I wasn't here during the morning show.
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods, the commissioner is the Kinda Funny championship.
Yeah, man, we didn't make any rules for him, so that may have been a mistake.
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, anything goes.
We'll
and
see how it all pans out.
Craig's also going to be hosting the Pool Panic World Championship for Adult Swim Friday night, and finally, there's the Skybound meet and greet sold out, so you can't get any tickets. So, I mean, maybe wait outside and scream a lot. I guess, I don't know. And yeah. So, and then today's sponsors Omaha Steaks, but we'll hear from them later. So, Mike, let's get into some news with the Roper Report. There are 5 items on the Roper Report this week, or today.
Wait, no.
First on the docket of the Roper Report today, Spyro Reignited Trilogy will let you choose between the original and remastered soundtracks. This comes from GameStop from Michael Higham. Nostalgia has been a strong pull for old franchises to make comebacks, Spyro the Dragon included. We've seen Spyro the Reignited Trilogy in action already, which contains remakes of the first 3 games in one package. One of the biggest aspects fans fell in love with was the unique soundtrack in the original games. And during at the San Diego Comic-Con, Pinnacle developer Toys for Bob announced that Stuart Copeland, the original series composer and drummer for The Police, is returning for the remaster of the soundtrack. Players will be able to switch between the remastered soundtracks and the original versions in the options menu in case you get an itch to listen to the old tracks. A brand new intro song called Tiger Train will also be available in the traditional prog rock style of the series' music. Copeland himself expresses enthusiasm for returning to the franchise after all these years and stated, "Creating new music for the Spyro Reignited trilogy has been incredibly fun and nostalgic for me. Seeing how fans love the original series and the soundtrack was a very heartwarming experience 20 years ago, and being able to revisit that with the new games has been fun. And has brought things full circle." Mike, what do you think of this?
What a cool story. I mean, it's really fun getting back into these remasters, bringing back different games that we love from our childhoods, and really seeing the old school meeting the new school, and having those soundtracks, that music, all those tones that you love, I'm sure will bring you right back. Unfortunately, I wasn't a big Spyro guy, never played them, but I mean, if it's anything like Crash, I'm sure the soundtrack is going to be a lot of fun. You're my Spyro expert. What do you think about it?
I just think it's so cool. Like we were talking about Spyro yesterday. I think it's so cool how they're kind of like harping back to, hey, like this is like we're gonna hit the nostalgia train because I think they've seen it how it works so well for Crash Bandicoot. I wish they would have done this for Crash Bandicoot because that original Crash Bandicoot like soundtrack was just so good. And it would have been cool to have that, but it's cool that Spyro's getting it. And Spyro music is really unique. If you play Spyro without the music, it really is like half a game. Like it's so weird how music can really impact a game like that and make it an experience over just a game. No, I love shit like this. Like this shit is it's awesome. I love how they just kind of throw something in there for the fans, the really hardcore fans. And I like how deep they're going into like little stuff like this because like I said, it gives me hope that we're gonna get a new Spyro game, we're gonna get a new Crash Bandicoot game. It's gonna happen.
I love it. Years. And you know, here's one for you. I like these. I am a little hung up right now on the way to access that. It says in the story, you have to go to settings, go to audio, and change it over to the old school tracks. I really liked in Halo, the Master Chief Collection, where you could just hit the select button and you'd go to the old school graphics seamlessly. Andy and I and you were looking up a game on Switch called Wonder Boy, The Dragon Trap, where you could have those HD graphics and then quickly switch back to this 8-bit graphics from before. And I thought that was really cool. So to see the seamless transition was a big one for me. We'll see how much I get caught up in switching tracks to hear that. But with music, it's a little bit different than visuals. We'll find out what that's really like when we get to it.
Are you going to be picking up the Spyro Reignited?
I will 100% be picking it up. I cannot wait to try
Your
it out.
boy Snowbike picking up that Spyro trilogy.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, hot damn! A new PlayStation 4 Pro has been announced yesterday at the Marvel Comic-Con panel, hosted by yours truly, Greg Miller. Red. No, let me get this because it's just the hotness here. All right, so San Diego Comic-Con is now underway, and while Marvel may not be a big movie presence this year at this year's event, we did get some more news on the upcoming PS4 exclusive Marvel Spider-Man, along with a new trailer, which, goddamn, can't wait for this game. Sony unveiled a beautiful Spider-Man themed PlayStation 4 Pro bundle during the big convention. The limited edition bundle includes a red 1 terabyte PS4 Pro console with Spider-Man symbol embolized on the center of the machine, matching wireless DualShock 4 controller, a physical copy of the Spider-Man game, and a download code for The City That Never Sleeps DLC. The Spider-Man PS4 bundle is scheduled to launch alongside the game on September 7th and retails for $400. Sony has revealed that many will be available, so if you're interested in picking one up, you'll likely want to pre-order the bundle to ensure that you get your hands on one before supplies run out. The bundle is available for pre-order now. In addition to the bundle announcement, Sony shared a new trailer for Spider-Man during Comic-Con. The cinematic video sets the stage for the game's story and introduces another villain that Spider-Man will have to contend with Silver Sable. Also, Miles Morales.
I know. Let's unpack all of this.
It's news. A lot. It's God, this game. It can't come any faster. September 7th can't come any faster.
We are right around the corner, folks. We are less than 2 months away. And let's start off with the console.
All right,
me as a person who has a launch PS4, I have been waiting to upgrade to the Pro, and I have been eating and waiting on Greg Miller's words to say, Mike, one day we will get the Spider-Man PS4 bundle. It has now come to reality. I got my pre-order in, and this might be one of the best PS4 Pro custom editions I've ever seen. What are your thoughts on it? Because I got to say it's perfect.
It is so sexy. It's just like a glossy red, and the controller looks dope with like the white accents. I know some people were like, oh, it looks kind of plain, but you can't really please anybody like at all with like anything that you put out. But goddamn, it just looks so good. And like I've been looking in the market for another PS4, so I'm just gonna wait till that September 7th. Now, you were saying you were looking on Amazon. You couldn't find it, correct?
Could not find it on Amazon. Got hooked up in the back out there in the press pool. Got me hooked up on Best Buy, was where I was able to secure my pre-order. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there are some places that will still have it available. So I'd go out, get your pre-orders before they're gone, because it looks like you're going fast, especially with Amazon. Especially when you want to get it, 7 days late, because Amazon's great on pre-orders.
Hey, it's slow your roll, all right?
I love it. And so when we're talking about these custom Xboxes, custom PS4s, is there any ones that jump out to you on the special editions? I mean, like I said, we thought this one was sexy. I didn't like the God of War one. I didn't like the gray the white, the yellow. I thought it was just a plain look. I think this one really jumps out at you. And it almost brings me back to my favorite custom console, which was the Homer Simpson's bright yellow with Homer's head on the Xbox 360. That's what it really brought me back to it. And it made me jump for joy where I wanted to buy this. What kind of consoles made you jump like that?
I mean, the PS4, the Uncharted one was really dope. I liked with the sick Parkinus Magna in the front. The God of War one, I really liked the God of War one. So I mean, we're a little different there. I thought it was a clean look. It was screamed God of War, but it wasn't enough to get me out to actually buy one. So like this one's got me locked down. But yeah, no, I never really had the special edition consoles. Okay.
Oh, wow. Really? Yeah. I'm a special edition guy. And, you know, Big Kev Dog has brought up for us on the second monitor. We got the Star Wars Battlefront special edition. Yeah. That's Battlefront 1 with Darth Vader. I got to say, that's a sexy look for me. I like that.
No, that one sucked.
What?
Look at that DualShock.
Dude, the DualShock.
Look at that. Why is the circle red?
The red and blue up top are also colored because those are buttons you use in the game, dude.
It's not right. Look how ugly it looks.
Whoa. You have bad opinions.
You got bad opinions. Mikey, I don't judge the special edition by the controller. I'm judging it by the console. And I got to say, that one looks great. There's been some great classic ones. I get brought back to a lot of Xbox because I'm an Xbox guy. That Gears of War with the blood splatter red all over it. I mean, I'm a big fanboy of these custom consoles, and that's how you get me to buy. Like I said, I've been sitting on my PlayStation 4 since launch day. I need an upgrade, and this hot Spider-Man Red is going to get me right away.
Okay, well, that wasn't the only thing that was announced at that panel, or shown at that panel at least. So we got a story trailer. You and me sat down, watched it together after I spilled Red Bull everywhere. Sorry, Kevin. It was cleaned up.
You cleaned it up?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
But yeah, so awesome story trailer. Like I keep saying it. It's gonna keep repeating, but like this, I've been hungry for a good superhero open world game, and throw in Miles Morales, and then just throw in like you got the 5. You got see, I'm not familiar with the Silver Sable, but what do you think of the actual like story trailer itself?
I thought the trailer was great. You know, the addition of Silver Sable and her task force is going to be hunting you down. You know, the Osborns have made it sound from that trailer that Spider-Man is now going to be the menace of the city. He's going to send this task force after you. So that's going to be probably the constant motion of, are you getting away from her task force along with balancing whatever you're doing during the game? Kind of like Grand Theft Auto with the cops always around you, stuff like that. I think that was a cool one. The addition of Miles Morales. Will he be a playable character? How much will he be involved? From that trailer, it looked like he's going to be starting off. He's going to be part of the group right away, which will be really cool to see.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because we have a listener question from Steven. Steve Jr. 1128. He says, hi, Mike and Mike. Great job yesterday. My question with Miles Morales appearing in the new Spider-Man PS4 trailer, do you think there's room for him to appear as playable as Spider-Man in a sequel game?
100%. I think we could be building the universe. We might not get him this game. We might get a DLC with Miles. We might work into Spider-Man 2 where they both share the spotlight. But you know who I really need? Shirtless Spider-Man to make an appearance. Be playable there.
Need that skin. Let me know in kindfunny.com/you're wrong. Was that announced that he's not playable? For this game, let us know, because I can actually see him being playable in the game. But again, again, it's been a busy couple days, so wasn't able to get all like the details of the story. But yeah, I could see him being playable in this game, but I could totally see him in the future, like the next Spider-Man sequel, him being an integral part in terms of playability.
Oh, I'm excited.
I think they're setting up an awesome universe in terms of like the gaming sphere.
I think that's an easy one with Spider-Man. He's already got a great universe, and I think them diving deep and really going for it is going to be so well done, and I think that's only going to sell the game that much more. When you see Spidey, you want to see all those iconic villains. You want to see his counterparts from Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales. We want to see all of them. Aunt May's got to be in here. We're going to have a lot of fun in this universe, but here's my catch-up right now. At what point, Mikey, do we get too many story trailers? Because we already know Spider-Man's the big hotness. We know he's out in a month and a half. How many trailers can we see about this game? Does it ever take you overboard, or can you just keep getting fed trailer after trailer?
like I 100% agree that like you can show too much. Death Stranding is a perfect example of that game. I was intrigued at first, and now I don't give a fuck about it. Like but I feel like with all they've shown of Spider-Man, we still don't know like much, like in terms of like the actual story. I think they've outlined it like a good trailer does of like, hey, this is what this game's going to be about. But I still don't feel like we know everything about the game like we do on some games in terms of like what's shown. Yeah, it's out in a month. It's weird that we're still like getting like in-depth trailers like this, but I'm excited, man.
Definitely, and we still haven't seen the sixth villain. No, I don't think they showed too much. You know, it has to be done. Hall H, we're having a Marvel's game panel. If we show the special edition console, I believe you have to have a trailer with that. That's what they did. I don't think we've gone overboard with Spidey, but we have gone overboard with some games with their trailers. I think they did a good job having restraint and not showing the sixth villain that we're looking for right now. We know the big five. There's rumored to be one more, the sixth one at the end of the E3 trailer where he looks up. I'm glad we haven't seen that yet because I want that to be in the game. I don't want it to be spoiled for me right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've seen just enough. Now just give us like little snippets, reclips of what we've seen, and then just let me play it.
Love it.
Well, our next story is Sony shuts down Gravity Rush 2 servers. This is by Push Square by Sammy Barker. Despite a significant social media campaign from vocal fans, Sony shut down Gravity Rush 2 servers overnight. The title was originally meant to go offline in January, just a year after its original release. However, online pressure prompted the platform holder to reconsider, and fans were given an additional 6 months to partake in the online activities. That time is up. And you can no longer enjoy the features in Cat's sophomore effort. It's worth noting that the title is still fully playable, and all the trophies can be unlocked without the multiplayer modes, which, thank fucking God, because I still haven't platinumed that game. Although Dusty tokens are now very difficult to acquire, meaning that certain outfits and items can no longer be obtained. There had been some hope that as a compromise, the manufacturer would patch the title, making said items available to everyone. But there's no word on them doing that just yet.
Whew, Mikey, I mean, the community has spoken. They didn't want this to happen. To shut down overnight is always heartbreaking, no matter what the game, whether it be super popular, mid-tier, not popular at all. It always hurts when you see something like this happen. And as a community standpoint, like you and I would be, I'm heartbroken over that. I think the big one that we have to speak upon is getting those Dusty tokens. I mean, if I can't obtain them since multiplayer is gone, what am I going to do? I wanted those skins. I wanted to achieve those things. And I think that has to be a patch coming out here. If the community is that well spoken, it will be addressed right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Gravity Rush is a very niche like community. I love the games. Like again, I didn't get as far into Gravity Rush 2 as I would have liked, just because that year was crazy with games. But it's a little troublesome, or at least like it looks kind of bad on Sony. We're a little over a year since the game launched, and they're shutting like the online servers, which I can't imagine costs too much to like keep going because it's not like extensive multiplayer. But yeah, if you wanted to see Gravity Rush 3, good luck. I don't think we're going to see another Gravity Rush for a long, long time.
That's too bad, and I think that's a telling tale. We spoke about it yesterday on Kind of Funny Games Daily. This at least went for a year. We talked about Culling 2. That shut down in about 5 days. So it's heartbreaking to see some of the games that you might love, that you might truly enjoy, shut down like that. Gravity Rush 2 for being such a big name on the PlayStation. I'm surprised after such a short time they're shutting that down. Is multiplayer truly the main focus in that game, though?
No, it's not. And that's where it's like, obviously, you can still platinum it. You can still play the game. Like, that's not affected at all. But it does suck. Like, if someone picks that up, like, discount bin, $20, and, like, wants that cool skin, like, it's going to be hard to attain. So, just sucks. It's interesting. I wonder what their reason, like, I'm sure the reasoning is that just not enough people were playing online and using those Dusty, or getting those Dusty tokens. But, interesting. Like, I think this just tells a story of like, yeah, we're not going to see another Gravity Rush for a very long time, which is really sad. Whew. It's a really fucking good game.
All right, Mikey.
Well, Mike, you ready for change up?
Is it my turn now?
It's your change up.
Throw me that ball. Let's get into it. All right. Story number 4. Oculus is going... Oculus Go is supporting a struggling VR market. This comes to you from GamesIndustry.Biz Rebekah Valentine. VR is struggling this year, and if anything can save it, it's Oculus Go. The cheaper, portable headset was responsible for the overall growth of VR headset sales in the first half of 2018, while other major headset sales declined 50%. SuperData's latest report on VR and AR for the first half of 2018 showed 289,000 shipments of Oculus Go in Q2. This number drove an overall 38% growth in the headset sales through the first half of the year, despite no meaningful help from other major headsets, according to an analysis that's at least in part due to the lack of the major titles announced and on their way in the near future. Sony in particular is showing less interest in promoting its VR. PSVR only shipped just over 100,000 units in Q2 after having shipped 3 times as many the same period last year. Microsoft, meanwhile, has indicated VR for Xbox X is not happening at all. Oculus Go is part of an important movement of the XR, said SuperData head of XR Stephanie Lamus. Quote as well, Facebook sold more units of the standalone headset in its launch quarter than they did the Oculus Rift in the first entire half of 2017. Its price, convenience are proving to be selling points, but it will be up to them to create a compelling content that keeps users engaged over and over again, end quote. Mikey.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good for VR at all. 100,000 units in Q2 for just PSVR, which was the winning VR. I think I don't think the writing's quite on the wall yet, but I think you can kind of see it just the way Sony talks about PlayStation VR. I think it's just kind of going the way of the Vita. I don't think the support's there anymore in terms of games, in terms of content, which is a little sad. I think it's crazy how much the Oculus Go is selling. I don't know. People want to get their hands on this, and I don't think there's that much content on there. I mean, and since it's so underpowered too, it's like how much content can you really do that's that immersive and that engaging. So sad. I really think VR is on its way out.
That's interesting. Whoa, I don't want VR to go. We heard Kev Dog in the back. I mean, VR is an awesome option to playing the games. We knew the obstacles, the hurdles of a lot of setup time. You really can't run it as long as you would watching a television because sometimes your eyes hurt, you get dizzy, you get nauseous. And when you look at this, PlayStation VR, that was a great one to be able to plug into my console ready to go. I didn't need that high-end PC, and I know Oculus was the better version, that with the HTC Vive. Those were the big boy competitors over in that space saying, hey, if you got the high graphics computer, you can play these games with those VR headsets, and it'll be a whole lot of fun for you. I know the Oculus Go, Facebook, all those guys were tag teamed up. I'm surprised at hearing it's going down, but to hear that Oculus Go, the more portable, easier sustained, smaller version of the Oculus, is selling well. That's something I would be looking into as not a big VR guy, not somebody who has the high-powered computer. If I can get a smaller unit, more portable, maybe less computer capacity that I need, that's something that I'm all about. My PSVR sits there and gets dusty. I've played a couple of games on it, but not enough to really justify it. When it's talked in that article as well, it talked about AR, augmented reality, and how great Pokemon Go is going and other games similar to that. And that just makes me think, man, I wish that Microsoft was really still pushing that HoloLens that we saw a couple years back Absolutely. At that E3 conference. I was all in for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting how that kind of went to the wayside. They're like, oh, look at this, really cool. This is going to be our kind of answer to VR, and they just went away. And I don't know if that's just because AR in terms of a living room setting. Is it really that practical? I don't think so. I don't think we're at that point to where you can go around in running around in your house. You know how small some people's houses are. I just feel like VR is a little more practical. But then things like Pokemon Go, where it takes you outside and lets you interact that way, I think that's kind of the way to go. Yeah, man. With your VR, what game have you played was there anything that really made you go, wow? I know you said it wasn't worth the investment, but was there anything where you're okay, I see where this is going?
I mean, when we talk about Drive Club in the back. We talk about Resident Evil. That was the big one. That one jumps out at you. It's too scary for some, but man, that is a great title. Fully playable on your PSVR. I thought that was a good sell. And you know what really captured me was Skyrim. On my PSVR, you could play the whole game in VR mode. I felt like I would jump into Skyrim and I never wanted to be taken out of it. They had motion controls with the wands. You could play it with the controller as a normal setting. And man, I felt like I wanted somebody to take care of my pugs, leave me in the headset Anubis for life, and just feed me occasionally with some water. I don't want to go anywhere. So I love it for that, but there wasn't many other titles that jumped out at me that made me say, hey, I got to set this thing back up. I got to get out there and continue this.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, well, you know, we talk about AR, we talk about Microsoft. Let's jump into our next story. Microsoft Gaming Division makes $10 billion in a year for the first time. IGN, Shabana Arif. Thank you for that article, and sorry for mispronouncing your name. Microsoft has announced its financials for the year ending June 30th, and the company has surpassed $10 billion in revenue in its game and service division for the first time. Microsoft has reported a 39% increase in revenue in the division, which has been credited in a large part of Xbox Live, Games Pass, and Mixers. In gaming, quote, in gaming, we are pursuing our expansive opportunity from the games are created and from the way games are created, distributed to how they are played and viewed, surpassing $10 billion in revenue this year for the first time, said CEO Satya Nadella during an investors call. Quote again, we are investing aggressively in content, community, and cloud services across every endpoint to expand usage and deepen engagement with gamers. The combination of Xbox Live, Games Pass, subscriptions, and Mixer are driving record levels of growth and engagement, end quote. Wow. What a great one.
$10 billion just from their games division.
We're talking a lot of billions.
First time ever for their games division.
You gotta love it. I mean, the voice that we've always had is PlayStation is running this generation, and Microsoft is on the catch up. Past couple of years, it's been flipped with everybody not being able to share, play games together, and Xbox trying to take that gamers first approach. This is what you're seeing. The uptick is turning into, and as a Microsoft guy, I'm very happy for this. I know the future looks bright for them. A lot of people say, no, PlayStation's already won. We're going to move forward, which is totally fine. But as an Xbox guy, as a video game person in general, you got to be happy for these small wins, these large wins on the dollar sign of this, because it's only going to help them grow, continue to give the gamers what they want.
Yeah, well, two things on this. One, we saw this shift last generation. We saw Xbox was so dominant, Xbox was leading the market, and then right at the end of the generation, it flipped. The script flipped, and PlayStation outsold Xbox. Just in terms of numbers. So I think we can clearly see this again. Maybe not just because of how dominant PlayStation 4 has been, but I think it would be very interesting because I think we were having that same conversation last generation in terms of, oh, Xbox is just so dominant. Xbox is like just killing it. There's no way PlayStation can catch up. And then they did it. So I can easily see something like that going down right now. And then two, I think it's because Xbox really diversified their game plan here. Mixer, that's a big one. And especially putting out a competitor to Twitch, Mixer has gotten a lot more traction than I thought it was. I remember when they announced it, I mean, like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are they doing? Like, Twitch has got this down. And then you see it's viable. It's viable for streamers to actually go on and build a platform and make money off of. And as a streamer yourself, like where do you come down on Mixer? Like have you seen that growth? Have you experimented all on Mixer? Like have you seen that kind of back and forth between Twitch and Mixer?
I've never been on Mixer to stream or broadcast, but I've watched plenty of streams from it. And I think Mixer is a great viable option for streamers. Maybe you don't like Twitch. Maybe you think Twitch is oversaturated. Well, Mixer's right there, brought to you by Microsoft, doing a great job as well, interacting with the community, growing with the community. And I think that's another profitable revenue source that they've generated from. It's really cool to see. And Mixer's only on the uptick right now. Every time you log onto your Xbox, the first couple boxes you see is mixer oriented. You can switch over to entertainment. There's mixer streams right in front of you, and it's a great source for extra profit from ad revenue, people donating, getting a little piece of that pie. It's pretty cool to see. And like you said, they've only grown with the revenue shares that they can get. Games Pass is another great option for you. $9.99 a month, over 250 titles. I mean, why would you not give Microsoft $10 a month, let's say, to get access to all these incredible titles? They're even coming out with titles day one for first-party games. This is the answer right here, and it's so much fun. And on top of my monthly subscription, I give them the Games Pass because I want to be involved in that, and that's just another easy way. $10 billion, awesome services they can give you.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's crazy too, because you asked me like before E3, like where's Game Pass? Like, is a Game Pass worth it? I would say no, just because Xbox literally was just dead silent on the first party front, and then they came out E3 so dominant, so many first party games, so many like announcing that they're like such a big thing. So that's such a Sony move, being like, hey, we bought these studios, like we're investing in our first party. And now I think it's hands down, like it's a no brainer if you don't have a Games Pass, in terms of, yeah, $10 and you could play any brand new exclusive game coming from Xbox or Microsoft. Yeah, like no brainer. So I really think that's really where this 10 billion comes in, is they've diversified their portfolio, and two, they're really trying to turn the tides right now. They're hungry.
Totally. And the 3 different boxes, I mean, we're talking Xbox OG, Xbox S, and Xbox X selling out there. I know it's just this past year, but man, 3 different pieces of hardware you can get. You got accessories like the Xbox Elite controller to get your hands on for a hefty price tag. That only continues to grow that revenue source, and it's pretty impressive. Being somebody who's bought in all the Xbox consoles, got the Elite controller, I am pretty much involved in every single service that they offer here with Microsoft to help them grow this business, and I'm sure many others are as well.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we're really excited for Microsoft's first-party studio games, but they're not out. But if you wanted to find out what's out today, where would you go?
I would point you in the direction of the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday. Yeah.
I always forget the yeah.
You're doing great, man. You're killing it.
You're not
Yeah.
supposed to do the yeah. I do the yeah.
Oh, Kevin, you're still here?
I do the yeah.
Oh, hey, man.
Oh, we didn't know you were here.
All right, so out today, Frost, Xbox One, Dolings, Xbox One, Hiroki, Switch, Spheroids, Switch, VSR, Void Space Racing, Switch, Werewolf Pinball.
Ooh,
Switch.
Mikey, you know what? When I look at these, just like you did to me yesterday, I want you to sell me on Dolings.
Oh, great. Well, this is a turn-based strategy game where this is a pizza baker, and he's kneading some dough, and the dough comes to life. Accident, like a little formula gets in the dough. So now you're what?
Chemical X and Powerpuff Girls.
That's it. Chemical X turns them in to little dough Powerpuff Girls, and then now you're on the turn base, and you have to find out what's going on, get out of the pizza baker shop before you get cooked.
Ooh, okay. Well, Dolings, check it out. Of course, that is definitely not Dolings, but you should probably look at it for sure. All right, let's move on down to deals of the day. We got for you PlayStation fans out there, a PSN flash sale up right now. Save 70% off a lot of games. This is also direct from Microsoft Store. 12 months of Xbox Gold for $39.99. As well from Microsoft, 3 months of Xbox Games Pass for $9.99. That's a great deal right there.
Hot deals.
Ooh, one month will get you 3. That's a good one. And over at Walmart, we got Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle for Switch, $29.88. Good deal on a great game right there. And 3 months of PlayStation Plus got $17.88. So not bad out there. Usually it's $25 for the 3 months. $17.88 is what that will get you. You're going to get the code directly via email from Walmart. And the biggest deal of the day is that Spider-Man PlayStation 4 PS Pro console.
Hotness.
It's out right now for pre-orders. Go find it on any website that you can. I know pre-orders are going to be tough, but like I said earlier in the day, shout out to the press pool. They got me a PlayStation 4 Pro Spider-Man bundle from Best Buy.
Well, Mike, let's take a minute for our sponsor before we get into some listener questions. No?
What?
The sponsor? listener questions?
Sorry, my bad.
It's great. So let's kick it over to Greg for word from our sponsor.
Hold on. Audio's not working. Why?
That's right, Mike and Mike Connection. It's me, Greg Miller, back from the grave if I died at Comic-Con, and I'm here to tell you about our sponsor. Cool, Greg, make sure that if I die, you use this ad, okay? Our sponsor, Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks is amazing. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you about it. I bought it for my dad, he buys it for me. I buy it for him, he buys it for me. Right now, they're saying we don't have to worry about any Father's Day holiday. We got the summer. What do you do during the summer, Mike?
Barbecue.
Right, grill. I don't think their mics will probably be on. They won't watch this thing, but you grill. That's what you do. So Omaha Steaks is making it easier and cheaper because they're going to send you all this meat to your house, frozen. You put it in your freezer. When you're ready to defrost it, you cook it. I do it here at Kinda Funny Studios. Cool Greg loves it. Right now, Omaha Steaks is giving a limited time offer to our listeners for the summer. Go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, and you can get this Omaha Steaks Grill Ready Collection for just $39.99. That's 80% off. Here's what you'll get. 2 tender filet mignons, 2 beefy top sirloins, 4 juicy boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 all beef Omaha steak burgers, 4 traditional kielbasa sausages, 4 award-winning jumbo franks, 1 Omaha steak seasoning packet, 4 made from scratch caramel apple tartlets for free. Again, this is a limited time package for just $39.99 when you go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, and add the Grill Ready collection to your cart. Don't wait. You want to get this offer soon in time for summer. Go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, grab your friends, and fire up the grill. Mike, back to you.
God damn, what a deal. Do I want some Omaha Steaks? So let's get into some reader mail, Mike. So the first question comes from RobbyGood. Sorry, it's all kind of spaced out here. What's up? Kind of funny. A few years ago, I saw a number of websites discussions suggesting that the AAA game sky was falling. Now all signs seem to point to a thriving industry with no signs of slowing down. Is this just an illusion, or are there horror stories of a studio closure and games selling 3 million copies without profiting still very real? Keep up the great work, guys. P.S. Snowbike Mike for president.
Woo! Well, Mikey, great reader mail right there. Thank you, Robbie Good, from that. I don't think the sky is falling at all. Actually, on the contrary, I think we're only growing. You and I had the discussion yesterday of Guerrilla Games upping their studio, upping their employees. I think we're only going to see more studios, with Microsoft announcing during E3, backing 5 different studios, bringing them into the Xbox family. I think these AAA titles, these big-time studio games, are only on the rise.
Yeah, I mean, I think this industry scare is very easy in terms of like last generation. Like, oh, this is gonna be the last generation of gaming. Like the mobile gaming's taking over. Everyone wants to play on a fucking screen. No, like we said no. PS4 has been skyrocketing in sales. Xbox even though they're losing, they're skyrocketing in sales. The Switch killing it. Like pretty much every platform that's out right now is killing it in terms of numbers. Even though there's one winner, they're all winning because they're all making tons of money off this. So I think it's a very similar situation of people just kind of scaring a little bit easier and being like, oh no, you can't make money off of a AAA game and you can't do this. And like you said, look at Guerrilla. They're expanding. They're almost doubling their team, a little under doubling, but yeah, it's insane in terms of AAA and what fruits are bearing from that tree right now.
Definitely. And it will be interesting to see the continuous growth of all these companies and different groups, and that mid-tier AA title that we always talk about kind of growing into and just blending the lines right there of that AAA. We're going to see a lot of that moving forward. Like I said, Microsoft acquiring some of these parties or these groups, organizations coming to join the Microsoft fold. They're going to take some of these mid-tier games and help make them more AAA titles. I'm really excited for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, want to take the next question?
Let's jump on over to Eric Myers. Thank you so much. What's up, fellow best friends? So glad you guys have the opportunity to host this show. Your first day was fantastic. Well done. On to my question. IGN released an article today about No Man's Sky's next update, and I couldn't be more excited. It has a list of 28 changes that will be coming with the update, and without getting into some of the awesomeness, I am so pumped for this game. I never played the game when it first came out, but after watching the new trailer and reading about the changes coming, I couldn't be more excited. Did you guys play this game? If so, are you excited to play the game and jump back into it? And if you haven't played the game, are you excited to try it out now like I am?
The question's no. Or, I mean, the answer is no. I'm not. I think I had a good time with No Man's Sky when it was out, but the ship sailed. Like, it's just too many games out right now. Things are going way too fast, especially in the last 2 years. I mean, we're getting an insane amount, an influx of game. So, no, I wouldn't be jumping back into it. I think it's cool that they're trying to right their wrong, but I think that game's name's still tainted. I think people are still going to be very wary jumping back into this game. But, I mean, hey, if they recover, then that's huge. Like, they've just thrown a Hail Mary if they recover, and let's say No Man's Sky starts selling again. So, I mean, I guess we've kind of seen it with Fortnite a little bit, but not as, like schemy in terms of like things were promised and they weren't there, but like when Fortnite came out and it was just, you know, the regular the tower defense essentially, and then they came out with the battle royale mode and they blew up. So I mean, it's happened, but I don't see it happening for No Man's Sky.
That's interesting, Mikey, because I'm on the opposite side. I'm actually very excited for this update. Somebody who got it on day one with the PlayStation 4, logged about 20 to 30 hours in, wasn't sold on it, wasn't wowed by it, but I thought it was a fun time, cool space adventure by myself, just to pass some of the time. Very mellow is what I wanted out of that. And now that I know it's coming to Xbox, it's getting this big update. Now I'm going to be able to play with friends at a much easier capacity. I'm kind of sold on this, and I'm very excited to try to jump back into it. Remember, if you're hesitant about this, maybe you've already moved past the bus, wait for your favorite personalities, the people out there that you trust, to tell you what it's like. But moving over to Xbox, getting a larger audience, saying, hey, we've righted our wrongs. We're going to try to give you the best product possible. This is the right move. And I actually find it to probably be the best time for them to release this update and come out on Xbox, because any later in the year, we're going to get tied up with some big-time titles. Right now, I feel like this is my lull with new releases. This is my moment that I can give you a week, 2 weeks at the most, before we get into larger titles that would definitely bury this.
Here's my issue with this, though, is like, where does the buck stop? Like, when, like, can a game just come out and be finished? Like, you don't see God of War doing this. You don't see Uncharted doing this. You don't see Last of Us doing this. You don't see these complete games coming out and they're finished. They're exactly like what it was intended to be. Like, are we just gonna forever make a pass for these unfinished games? Like, at this point, I would say just release another game. Like, don't keep up, because you're done. You had your chance with this game. Try to go on to another one.
Wow, Mikey.
Where's the buck stop, though? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, we can't just keep. Okay, yeah, like, it's okay. Like, you can update it. I'll pay the $60 now, and then when it comes out, I'll get in a year, like 2 years, how long? Yeah, it's been like 2 years, right, since it's come out. Okay, now cool. Now we're getting the game we're promised. Awesome. I'm glad I spent the $60 when it came out.
All right, Mikey, you're tough on him, but I like that, Big Mike. So that was, of course, from Pickle. My apologies. Thank you to Pickle. I want to jump to the next one. Eric Myers writes, what up, Mike and Mike? While I wasn't expecting it, it would have been cool to get a little teaser from Avengers game at yesterday's Marvel panel. My question is, when do you think we will actually see this game? Random blog drop, Game Awards, PXX. Will Robert Downey Jr. just tweet it out? Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for your time. And buy that chicken something nice. Eric.
I don't know. I don't know the state of this game. Like, I think this game's such a mystery. I thought it would have been a slam dunk at E3. Maybe we don't see it till the next E3 is what I'm thinking. I feel like a game like that needs a big platform to be able to be displayed in front of everybody and like, hey, like, we really believe in this. I think PSX is not the place to announce it, especially since the way PSX is kind of gone. I don't think the Game Awards is really the place to announce it either. I think this game needs a bigger stage in terms of, hey, like, look at this really dope shit we got going on right now. Like, outside of Spider-Man, we don't have any other Marvel games. You know, the last ones were all right. So yeah, I mean, I would like to see this blown up on a big stage, and then when they show it, I want them to show me something that's meaningful, that actually has impact, instead of just, oh, here's the title and here's like a 2-second trailer for it, revealing the font of the lettering of the game.
That's interesting you say that, Mikey. I agree with that. It's got to be on a big stage like E3, but I could see at Game Awards, or even Robert Downey Jr. just tweeting it out like you said, I could see us getting a teaser trailer, meaning we could get 4 to 12 seconds of all the Avengers maybe flying in, the logo flying over them with that announcement. I could see that happening at a Game Awards. I think it goes well there with the Marvel being such a big title, being such a universal title. Game Awards with that small teaser trailer. I don't want anything big, like you said. That's got to be on the E3 stage with gameplay, maybe a longer title. But if we can get a small tease at the Game Awards, I think that would be a perfect fit for that. Do I think that will happen this year? Absolutely not. I don't think we're ready to announce that. The focus is on Spider-Man. When we hit this holiday season with the Game Awards being in December, that will be Spider-Man's time for DLC. It will be Spidey on the main stage. So I don't think this Game Awards will see it. That pushes us over to PSX, which is just a couple weeks after. If they do it this year, it has not been announced. Or are we waiting that long until E3, which would be the right stage to show it on?
Yeah, I 100% agree. So the next question, I'm really excited for this one too. This is from Prince Emmett Watkins Jr.
Ooh, congratulations, Prince.
That hotness. Howdy, Mike and Mike. So while listening to you guys kill it on KFGD yesterday, I decided to go back and play some H1Z1 Battle Royale. After getting into the top 10 a few times, I concluded that I like it a lot more than Fortnite. The gunplay is a lot more grounded, and there is no separate building system for me to learn either. So anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, what are the lesser loved games in a genre and or series that you enjoyed over the rest, besides Fortnite / H1Z1 example? I also one of those weirdos who thinks BioShock 2 is the best one. Take that chicken on a first date. Prince Emmett Watkins Jr.
Well, Emmett, thank you for the question. I'm glad that you are giving a try to H1Z1 for all you PlayStation owners out there. You should be jumping into it. It's free. Fortnite has a high learning curve right now. Fortnite might be dominating this Battle Royale area, but H1Z1 coming to your consoles is a lot of fun to be able to play. Now, I will say, when we talk about H1Z1, I think those are one of those mid-tier titles that's made a name for himself, that has survived the oversaturated landscape of the Battle Royale titles. I'm going to stick with Battle Royales for me. One of the ones that I really like that doesn't get talked about much is more that mid-tier level to lower level is actually the Darwin Project. Came out recently on your games preview program for Xbox. That one has little to no gunplay. It has a bow and a shovel as an axe. Those are your only two weapons. Has a crafting mechanic that I really like. There's different pieces all around the world, from sofas to make leather, to wood to make wood, and etc. And you can make these different items to help upgrade your character throughout the Battle Royale landscape. So I thought they did a really good job at that. Realm Royale is another fun one for me on PC. That's getting some love, trying to do something different in this saturated landscape, and I think that's a lot of fun. So those, sticking with the Battle Royale for me, who's playing a lot of those are some of the titles that I look at, I enjoy playing, that aren't the two juggernauts in the series.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. And Emmett, I think you are insane if you think BioShock 2 is the best BioShock. BioShock 1 is hands down the best BioShock. Like, no questions asked.
Emmett, I'm with you. BioShock 2.
Oh, God. I have bad opinions. No, I think for me, it would be... this is a really unpopular one, too. Crash Twinsanity. Out of, like, all the Crash Twinsanity, hands down, like, I think is better than Crash 3 Warped. Such a good game. So funny. So much personality packed into there. And, it was just a lost title. Yeah, I mean... first-person shooters, some controversy there in terms of Battlefront, Battlefield. I've always been more of a Battlefield guy. I know Call of Duty is like the reigning first-person shooter champion, but yeah, I think out of like those things, I think Crash Twinsanity is probably like my biggest one in terms of like everyone usually like hates the PS2 Crash games, and I am in love with that Crash Twinsanity.
I love that. All right, let's move on to the next question right here. This one rings with me, and I know you and I are differing opinions about this. This is from Parker Begale. Kind of funny, crew. I'm in dire need of your expertise. In my workplace, we have an office divided in a poll of: are esports a sport? Obviously, gaming probably wouldn't be considered a sport, just as tossing around a football or playing catch is not a sport. Additionally, would you consider the participants athletes? Whatever insight you can provide would be greatly appreciated, as we are at 50-50 split. Thank you all for everything you do for the KFBF. Yours truly, to all your heroes. Best PB.
Well, it looks like you're not going to get a tiebreaker on this one, because I think we're divided on this one too. I could see the argument for it being a sport, but I don't think they're athletes. Like, I think there's physical exertion that needs to happen for you to be an athlete. And I'm not saying that being an esports player is easy. I'm not saying that they're not, like, there's not a lot of work that goes behind that. I'm not saying these guys grind their ass off. I'm not saying they practice just like a regular athlete would. But I do think there needs to be a line drawn there, because, again, we have words for a reason. We need to be able to distinguish things. Just the same reason I wouldn't consider chess a sport or those people as athletes. I think that's the same amount of brain mental power that goes into it to be able to figure out the pieces on the board, where to move them, how to move them. Same thing with a video game. So why would we say that chess players aren't athletes and that chess isn't a sport, but why all of a sudden is video games sports?
Okay, that's an interesting one. What word would come to your mind instead of athlete would you use?
I don't know. Like, okay. I think players, I don't know. Like, I think that's a very hard one to define, and I think they would be better off as kind of setting their own term, being original and setting their own term and making their own thing, instead of being like, oh, like this is sports, like we're athletes, because in my opinion they're just not. They're not doing any physical exertion. Like I said, that's not discrediting all the work that goes into being esports and being really good, because like I'm impressed, I'm in awe. I love watching the Overwatch, I love watching the Fortnite, like the Extreme, like Major League Gaming. Like, I think it's so interesting, it's so fun, it's like the energy's there. It feels like you're at a sports game, but there is no like sport going on. I think there's a game going on, but I don't think it is sport.
Okay. Well, PB, this is where you get the split at the table right here. Unfortunately, we won't be able to help you off, because I do believe esports is moving into being considered a sport. As we grow as a culture, a human race, we continue to add and define things, like you said there. And I think that esports will be considered a sport, is considered a sport in my mind as well. And the players, the participants might be a better word, like you said. I believe those are athletes. What they are doing out there is athletic to me, even though we're not working up a sweat. To have the mental fortitude, to have the athletic prowess to be able to do those things, I think that puts you on the athletic scale right there. It takes a lot of time, dedication, practice, hard work. Outside, you got to keep your body, just like we always say, your body's a pyramid. You got to keep it well balanced, well groomed, because that physical fatigue will set in. Hours on end playing games, just like you would be out there on the football field, on the basketball court. You're putting in the work, getting tired, getting that physical exhaustion. And if you don't have the hours of endurance built up, if you're not working into that, then you wouldn't really have it. And I think you got to consider these guys athletes. They're getting paid salaries, big salaries, to play in these different esports. They're up there with an athlete. Now, we always talk about different tiers. Of course, I'm not comparing them to Antonio Brown, our Madden 19 cover athlete, but I will say these guys are putting in the work, putting in the hours. They deserve to be called an athlete as well.
I just don't agree, just in terms of like why do they, like, why are they trying to be sport? Like, they are something completely different, and I think it's just as good as like sports would be considered. It's the same thing as like the video, like, why are we trying to make video games movies? Like, why are we trying to mainstream that in that way? Like, why can't we just mainstream it in the way that we've been doing for decades? I feel like we're getting too caught up on like identity, like, for us to be taken seriously, we need to be on ESPN, we need to be like, I just think that's just such an old way of thinking. Like ESPN, like no one has cable, like a good amount of people don't have cable anymore. Like, Twitch is the way to go. Like, why are we trying to hitch onto a dead medium when we can move forward and start our own thing? And why, when is sports going to move over to Twitch, you know? Like, why aren't we trying to make them want to be with us? Why are we trying to be with them? And I think that would be a stronger message to send than complain about, oh, why aren't we considered athletes? Why aren't we considered sportsmen? And there's another question on that too, is why do you think the Dungeons and Dragon players who play it professionally are athletes? Is that sport? What about chess? Like, where's the line? When is it a sport? Is it the money? Is it that if they make a lot of money, they're athletes? Or I just think we're trying to blur lines that we don't have to blur. And I think we should just set defined lines and be like, hey, like I am like an e-sport gamer. Like I said, we need to come up with like new terminology and let's make them want to be with us. Why are we trying to be with them? That's kind of where I come. It's the same thing with podcasts. With like, have you ever seen a morning radio morning show like that's like on cable? It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Like nobody 90-year-old people watch like talk. It's just so like played out. It's so scripted. It's so fake. That's why people are moving toward podcasts and like Twitch shows like this. Like you get a more in-depth conversation. You get something that's meaningful. You can have in-depth conversations like Joe Rogan on his podcast, 3 hours long. And you really get to see a person for who they are instead of these cut out 5-minute, 10-minute segments of like talking points. Everyone's trying to talk over each other, trying to get their points in. I just think it's pointless. Like why, like I keep saying it, but I think it's so important. Make them want to be with us. Why are we trying to be with them? Because I think, especially sports, that's the only thing I feel is really keeping cable alive. Because like you see these shows like on like the Big Bang Theory and like all these, it's just garbage on TV. And then you see what Netflix and Amazon's doing, and it's so much more. And I think as gamers, I think as a gaming community, as a gaming industry, I think we should define ourselves on what we are instead of what we are trying to form ourselves to be. So that's kind of where I come down on the whole thing. But I'm sure a lot of people in our chat like, oh, fuck you. How dare you? We are a gamer. We are, we play sports. We're athletes. But it's like, I don't see the necessary, like, why are we trying to be on the same level as them?
Okay. Well, that's interesting you say that. We'll wrap up with this. I think on the opposite side, I don't think it's, us trying to become them. I think it's these guys over in the ESPN, the sports world, trying to get a piece of this. They see the viewership. They see the growth. They know that this is the next evolution with the human race of everybody is playing sports. But we have a whole dedication of group over here that are gaming, and we want a piece of that market. And I think they want to become us. We want to become them. We're going to join that together. But I will be excited to see what the defined lines are. If you can give me a good definition, a better terminology for these esports, these athletes, these players, I will be excited to see that.
Absolutely. I think we should come back to this eventually one day.
I love it.
The next question comes from Ben Williams. Good morning / afternoon from England. Kind of funny hosts. What are your thoughts on the single retailer having exclusive distribution rights for special editions of a game and consoles in certain territories? In the UK, a long-running company called Game have exclusive rights in selling collector's editions and sometimes specially themed consoles. This has been the same case with the Spider-Man themed PS4 Pro bundle. Whilst you're able to buy the standard PS4 Spider-Man bundle on its own. Yeah.
Well, this is too bad. You know, I read this user question, and it's a little heartbreaking to me. Of course, we don't experience this here in the United States with different ways to buy these. But out there in the UK, it sounds like you can only get this Spider-Man-themed PS4 bundle if you buy an additional headphone set from Turtle Beach with that. And that's a little, you know, discouraging. I wouldn't want to buy a headset if I don't need a headset just because I want that console. So that's too bad to hear that's happening in other parts of the world. And that's what's really holding, you know, these guys back from buying these things. I don't need an additional item on top of what I want to buy. This is already a PlayStation 4 bundle for $499. I don't need another $60 headset on top of that. I've been a gamer for a long time, just like many of these guys are. We don't need another headset. I just want the console. So that's a little discouraging. That's too bad to hear that it's happening out in his part of the world.
Yeah, so my bad. There was another part of that question, too. Ben was saying that I've been waiting for months for the opportunity to order the Red Spider-Man PS4 Pro bundle because I know it looks amazing, and I know how the game like game are abusing its exclusivity in the UK in order to unlock stock no one wants and squeeze out as much money as it can out of the British consumer. So it sucks. I think it sucks that it's not all kind of streamlined there. But I do think different territories have different needs. And like a soccer bundle in the United States just wouldn't really make sense. Like, yeah, there's a big like soccer fan base here, but it's not big enough, I think, to justify like a FIFA bundle. But over in Europe or I think that makes a little more sense. So I do see why they do it, but it does suck that people like game takes advantage of markets like that.
Yo, it'll be interesting. I've never seen anything where you've had to buy an additional piece of hardware to obtain the bundle. I mean, I understand different bundle sets. Yes, a FIFA set might not sell well here, but that's just coming with FIFA. That's not saying, hey, go buy this Astro headset as well. So that's interesting. Too bad to hear. And of course, that would discourage me from going out and purchasing this, even though I just told you earlier in the show how excited I was for this. If this is what was going on at Best Buy, at Amazon here in the US, where it said, buy this PlayStation 4 Pro bundle for Spider-Man, but on top of that, you have to get these HyperCloud X headsets, I would not buy it at all. I would move past it right away.
Didn't ThinkGeek do that with like Switch bundles? Didn't they have like Switch bundles where you could get a bunch of like Zelda stuff?
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it seems so schemy to me though. It's because it's like such like a short like notice in terms of like or like short supply. Like like when everyone's trying to get their hands on the Switch, and then they'll release like a bunch. Was it the Switch? No, I think wasn't it the SNES?
Yeah, maybe. I can't recall.
Yeah, so there was such a short supply of like the NES, SNES, where they're like bundling in a bunch of things with it that you don't really give a fuck, but you want the SNES, so you're spending more money to get the thing that you want, and then their profit margins are bigger. So a little sketchy of a business practice, but I mean, hey, to each his own.
That's too bad. All right, well, let's move on to the next segment. Squad up.
Squad up. Never roll alone.
Never roll alone. This is coming from B. Stefano. That's going to be BSTEFON. BSTEFON. I just picked up Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles Edition on Xbox Game Sale, and I want to slay some zombies with the best friends. I used to play zombies all the time back in the day, but have been out of the game for a bit, and as such, most of my friends no longer play zombies. I'm looking for a new crew to roll with to murder some zombies and possibly prep for the release of Black Ops 4. Looking to kill some zombies this weekend? Go squad up right now with B. Stefano, BSTEFON. Mikey, it's time for the rotating segment of the day. Do you got a special one for me this time?
No, we don't. We didn't have anyone send in a bad PSN name, so yeah.
Well, let's take 60 seconds, 30 seconds just to say thank you. Thank you to the Kinda Funny crew for allowing me, Mikey Double D Doherty, for coming on the show to host Thursday and Friday. Thank you to the Kinda Funny Best Friends community out there for letting us come into your TVs, into your viewing and listening pleasure zone out there, and having some fun with y'all. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the positivity, the support that you all give us. Thank you all so, so much. And be ready. Next week, you're going to get back with your original host. They're going to be destroying it. But you know what? Mikey, you did a terrific job, so thank you,
So did you,
for
Mike.
being amazing. I'm so proud of you out here.
Well,
take me to the next one.
We're getting into You're Wrong.
Ooh, I'm not ready for this today. Tell me what I screw up on.
Looks like we got a bit here.
Oh.
So it looks like from Lord Pone, Tim won the belt from Xavier, but Nick is still the true champ as he has had the belt stolen from him by a rogue agent named by the name of Johnny Ace.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like some sketchiness going out there with the kind of funny belt.
Greg will always be our champ. Greg Miller. Woo!
We got the press pool out there is chanting for Greg.
Champs don't welch on bets.
You want me to get you that pizza?
Yeah, let's get some. We getting some pizza?
Burgers right now, but you want to
Kendra Henderson asked, you were wrong from yesterday. Snowbike Mike said if you show up to the event on Saturday and say Snowbike Mike sent you, they'd let you in. However, in the past, that has not worked. See Gorgon King trying to get into the Science Center and meet up during prom.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You gotta try this time.
You got to drop that Snowbike Mike name. You never know. That name drop could work.
Hey, go get Mike. That's all you gotta do. K-Bab says, I actually asked Josh Masellan, the composer of the Crash games, if he was involved in the music in the Insane trilogy over SoundCloud. He said he asked Vicarious Visions to help with the soundtrack, but was rejected multiple times. Hold on. I'm trying to zoom this out.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that is really interesting. He decided... gosh dang it. This cuts off.
You want me to get in there?
Yeah, well, it's just cutting off. That's all. Hold on. Give me a second. Technical day. Today's been a day, man.
It's alright. You're doing great. What's the problem? It's cutting off there?
Yeah, it's cutting off right there.
I think... Where are we at?
Right here.
This guy?
Yeah.
This one. If you click it here, it shows it up there, right?
Oh, no. Doesn't. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll just go on. I suspect Copeland's involvement with the Spyro music is Activision encouraging a different approach to the music this time. That's interesting. I didn't know that at all. That's weird to me that they turned him down for that because he's the original composer, and they tried to keep it as original as possible.
Definitely. Who was that? K-Babs?
Yeah, that was K-Babs. So
thanks, K-Babs.
Thank you,
nice job.
K-Babs, for that. Unsexist comedian asks, yours truly is a way of referring to oneself. Not to be, hold on, Kevin.
Sorry.
Not to be used to refer to others. Probably meant the way one and only. Mike, you're a handsome, and Cheeks Jr., you're killing it, brother. Love you all. Thank you so much, Unsexiest Comedian. Lord Pone also adds, there's also a Spider-Man PS4 Slim bundle in addition to the PS4 bundle, Pro bundle. That's what I thought. I saw that yesterday, so I wasn't sure on that. So thank you, Lord Pone, for that. K-Vibes adds, the buttons on the Darth Vader PS4 controller are meant to be to match the look of the control panel on Darth Vader's chest. Okay, still looks ugly.
I remember that. Yep.
You sound dumb, dude. You have bad opinions.
It's a bad controller.
A lot of people saying that online.
And then K-Babs also asks, technically the name of the color on the Spider-Man PS4 Pro is Amazing Red.
Oh, I like that.
A little technical here, K-Babs. Wet Dirt 28. What's up, Wet Dirt? I'm pretty sure the color scene for that, okay, same thing. The PS4 controller matching the Darth Vader's chest. K-Babs. Let's see here. So here's one we were talking about earlier. Lord Pone adds, Miles Morales has not been confirmed as playable in Spider-Man. Mary Jane will be playable though, but Insomniac won't say if Miles will or will not be. So there's a good chance. I actually think so. So thank you for that, Lord Pone. Daydream asks, you guys aren't wrong. Just an update. I'm pretty sure Greg said No Man's Sky was $20 the other day. It has now jumped back up to $60.
Woo! On Xbox too. That's too bad. Still something I will commit to and try because I enjoyed that space adventure.
$60. It went back up in what is wrong? What is wrong with these people? Just release a new game at that point if you're gonna jump the price back up. Oh, sorry. Yeah, getting passionate. CJ Rock 32, shout out to Cheeks and the Bike Man. The NBA G League is actually being podcast live on Twitch. Jumping over streaming only for smaller products.
Yep, they did do that. The NBA G League season last year was exclusively on Twitch. You could watch it all the time, and I took part in watching it and actually broadcasting over it a lot. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Twitch, for that.
All right, and then this one's getting a little technical, but Big Bang Theory isn't cable. It's a network TV that you can get for free or on an antenna. You get what I mean. Still bad TV. Ro says you can buy the Spider-Man PS4 Pro from Game in the UK on its own for 330 euros.
Well, thank you. I hope you send that out on the Twitterverse for our friend that wrote in.
I don't know if that's euros or like a Monopoly money sign. Dirty Platypus asks, Snowbike is wrong. Esports isn't a sport. I hope you can see you two on more KF content.
Thank you.
I think that's still up for debate there. Let's see here. Okay, here's a good. Lord Pone also asked, ThinkGeek did have a bundle of the SNES Classic that included a bunch of stuff. Other retailers had similar small bundles for classic consoles and for the Switch. It's fairly common practice to offload some excess inventory and get better margins. So we were both right. It was the Switch and the SNES there. I got Kendra Henderson. Mikey, it's pronounced Kendina, not Kendra. I'm so sorry about that.
Thank you, Kadena. Appreciate you.
And K-Babs just corrects one more time. Okay, No Man's Sky is still available for $20 on Amazon.
Double correction. Well, guess what, Mikey Double D? That is the end of us hosting for Thursday and Friday here in the Kinda Funny studio. Where can everybody find you, Mikey?
Everyone can find me over at Cheeks_Jr on Twitter. You can follow my channel over at youtube.com/chiptoothgaming. Over there making a podcast called Completely Consensual, covering all the nerdy news of the week as well with some of my best friends. Some reviews, Let's Plays. We got it all over there. And you can also follow that at CTG Vids over at Twitter. Mike, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Snowbike Mike, of course, where I'm giving you all those hot takes and those fun stories that you want to see. And check me out on twitch.tv/Snowbike Mike, where I'm broadcasting to you live 5 nights a week with that high energy fun and that what? Spicy gameplay, play. Thank you so much, Mikey. Thank you to the Kinda Funny crew. Mikey, I'm so proud of you, kid.
It's been a pleasure.